Hey guys, what is up? It is Carl Planken with Plankens Networking, and today we got another Windows Basics series video for you, and we're going to be showing you guys how to hook up a computer. So this is fairly simple. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you already know how to do this, but for those of you that are curious, we're going to make a video on it anyways, just for the heck of it. So there are a few things you're going to need for this video, and we're going to talk about those. And the main point of this video is going to be for, some of those old people that aren't really tech savvy, or maybe a younger kid that really doesn't know much about computers yet. Depending on what your computer has or how new it is, some of this stuff may vary, but we're going to cover it all, so I'll talk about it as we go along. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you need to double check, make sure you got the right cables or something for your computer. If you don't, you can drop a comment below and we'll help you find what you need for a good deal. Anyways, so the main thing that we're going to need, the most important cable we're going to need for this is we obviously need power. So for this, we're going to need a 3-prong desktop power cable. You're going to need 2 of these, one for your monitor and one for your desktop. Some monitors may use a different prong, some desktops might even 2. Next thing on our list is going to be a Cat 5e or Cat 6 cable. You can have either one, it doesn't really matter, just depends on your network speeds you want. Next on our list obviously is a VGA cable, a DVI cable, or an HDMI cable depending on what your computer uses. Some computers nowadays just use HDMI, so you might need one of those. Next on our list is a USB optical mouse. You can have a wireless one if you'd like, but most computers nowadays just use USB. There is PS2 as well, and if you have one of those, you can use that. Next on our list is obviously a USB keyboard, which we have, and so yeah, we're going to just jump right into it now, telling you guys how to set up the computer. So the first thing you're going to need obviously is a desktop computer in front of you. You can see we have ours. We have a VGA port, 4 USB ports, an Ethernet cable, and 6 audio inputs. 6 audio IOs that we can use for different things. Basically today we're just going to be showing you the basics of what to hook up. So the first thing we're going to need is our monitor cable. So that's going to be the first thing we hook up. As you can see, we have one right here. Ours is missing the 3rd prong. If yours is missing the 3rd prong, this isn't a big deal. Just I do not recommend using this for your desktop. I would use this for the monitor for sure, especially if you have a cheaper monitor than what your desktop is, because a lot of people mainly put most of their money into their hardware. And if you don't have that ground prong on a desktop and you ruin like a $1,500 desktop, you're going to feel pretty shitty about it, I'm pretty sure. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this one for our monitor. As you can see, I'm grabbing it, and we just plug it in. Now, I am sorry about the crappy video right here. I probably should have adjusted my camera, but I was doing this by myself, and I don't really have the best tripod. But as you can see, we have it plugged in and are ready to turn this bad boy on. So next thing on our list, now that we got our monitor hooked up, is going to be our next cable. For this one, I kinda decided just to go and hook up the desktop power cable. And the reason being is because I feel like the power is the most important thing. You want to get that hooked up first. Not to mention, it's also the biggest cable. So I feel like if you plug that in first and everything after that, it's going to be a lot easier to cable manage because the biggest cable's on the bottom. So you can just wire tie them all together. It'll make your desktop look really nice and neat. I highly recommend cable management to anybody setting up a desktop. It is really frustrating to have to go somewhere and fix a computer and have to untangle a bunch of cables, especially if you have to do it yourself. I mean, it might not be a big deal if you have a technician come in, but he might be upset about it, or her, depending on which. So next cable we're going to be doing is our Ethernet cable. On this one, I'm just using a Cat 5e basic Ethernet cable, nothing too special, nothing fancy. In fact, this cable is actually broken. It does not have the clips. If you have an Ethernet cable that has the clips, I highly recommend using that instead of one without the clips, because it'll make it so that the Ethernet cable doesn't get unplugged, and it will also make it so that you don't unexpectedly get disconnected from the internet. So yeah, like I said, I highly recommend making sure your computer has the clips. And next cable on our list is going to be our mouse. So this is fairly easy. We're just gonna cut the we're just going to cut the wire tie off it real quick and then plug it in. I highly recommend using the bottom 2 USBs closest to the Ethernet jack. 90% of desktops and motherboards on the market nowadays are set up this way, and the reason I say you should do it this way is it'll make wire tying the cables and managing the cables a whole lot easier. So next on our list is going to be our keyboard. For this, like I said, we're just using another USB keyboard. For those of you using PS2 or a wireless keyboard and mouse, it's basically the same, with just without the cables. So we're going to plug this in again right next to the Ethernet cable because it'll make the cable management much easier and look a lot more nice and tidy. And then last but not least on our list is going to be our VGA cable. Now, I did say that you guys can use HDMI or DVI. For those of you that have those, this computer just only has VGA, so I am doing it on VGA. But that's totally up to you guys on what you want to do. Whether you want to do it with VGA or not is completely up to you. We're just going to get these cables out of those ways so you guys can watch it plug in. Now with VGA and DVI, there's these screws right here that you can screw your cable into. I highly recommend doing this just because of the fact that when you're working on a computer, maybe you have it at a desk or something and it gets moved around somewhat a little bit, and the cable comes undone a little bit, it can bend the pins on the inside, making it so that that cable is basically useless. Now it'll funk up your colors, so you'll have like a blue color scheme over like your natural colors, so it'll like be like a blue hue over everything, and it's kind of annoying and frustrating. So like I said, if you have DVI or VGA that'll allow you to screw this in, I highly recommend doing it. It's not such a big deal with HDMI just because you don't really have the pins in there that are able to be bent so easily. That is all for today, you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, and our website. Until the next time, peace out.